Thank you so much, Chairman. Ms. Bro, I want to thank you so much for your courage. Every time you spoke today, I mean, you really are very sincere and genuine about combating hate in our country, and I appreciate it. As a mother raising 2 Muslim boys in this country, I want you to know I'm going to teach them about your daughter, Heather. I'm going to talk about her and hopefully create a legacy of continuing to be able to speak truth to power, as you said. Thank you so much again for your courage. I want to go ahead and talk about the rise, obviously the rise of supremacy, that's why we're here, but we're looking as members of Congress and the dramatic reduction in resources that have been designated to address and prevent this. And this issue hits very close to me. You know, this man, Nicholas Dito or something, a white male, recently was charged with arson and hate crimes in Dearborn Heights in my district because he targeted Arab American business owners, continue to target them. So this is very, very important to me that my families at home feel safe in our country. And so my question is really direct, and Mr. Salim, I know that you're very, very intimate in regards to looking at this, but we saw that DHS reassigned personnel in the department's intelligence and analysis unit tasked to tracking and combating violent white supremacy. The primary purpose of that team was to share information, as you talked about. I think you said 71% of these white supremacists are actually successful. Is that correct?
The statistic was kind of a two-sided coin in the sense that of Islamist-inspired terror attacks, the data out of University of Michigan said that over 70% of them were interdicted in the planning phase, while on the white supremacist side, over 70% of them were successful in committing actual acts of violence.
Absolutely, and we want to prevent massacres like the Tree of Life in Pittsburgh and Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston. So I'm going to be really frank, and I'm new, 4 months here, and I'm going to ask you directly, all of you, and I want you to answer it honestly. Has this administration blatantly failed to acknowledge the problem of white supremacy and in fact make decisions to cover it up?
I will not give you my personal opinion, but I will tell you what David Duke, Richard Spencer, and Matthew Heimbach, Jason Kessler have all thanked the current administration for giving them support, for giving them a platform that they have been missing for many years.
Congresswoman, as you know, I'm intimately familiar with these issues, and the way that I answer your question is that if you look at the budget requests that have come to Congress from the Department of Homeland Security over the course of the past 3 years, you will see that the resources dedicated to the point that the chairman made on community partnerships, on supporting locally based efforts to prevent and intervene in instances of radicalization and violence, those budgets and those personnel counts have been decimated. And that's what the budget numbers tell. That's not analysis, that's not opinion, those are facts.
And I would add that there's also a problem with the lack of law enforcement around these issues, not just at the federal level, but at the state and local level. So it's not just the messaging that's coming down from the White House, but rather the fact that there's not response that needs to happen to make sure that these people know they're not allowed to come into our communities and cause harm.
Thank you for the question, Congressman. And as a Muslim American, I think I can say that with President Trump being in office, there is a collective pit in the side of the Muslim stomach, meaning by that what he has said and what he has done, the promise of America, what it can be, the experiment of America, what it should be, where we're heading towards, is something that has caused doubt in the Muslim mind. Are we going to be able to get there? Are Muslims going to be part of that equation?
Undoubtedly. With the rhetoric, the resources, there is no doubt that this administration has this completely backward.
I'll just say I can't speak to the allocation of law enforcement funding. I do think there is perhaps too much direct causal blame being assigned to Trump or the administration for the rise of the alt-right. Of course, the alt-right has also talked about how they hate Trump for some members of his family marrying Jewish people. I mean, these are the kind of insane things they think. So I'd be a little bit more cautious. I don't know that there's good direct evidence that it is fueled by something Trump's done.
I'm going to just end with, I understand what you were trying to say. My whole thing is, I'm saying, has this administration failed to acknowledge the problem? I'm not saying I'm looking at resources as a member of Congress. What do I need to do is get the facts, create the whole doctor versus patient relationship that Ms. Breaux was talking about, and that's what we need to be able to stop the violent attack on communities of color and various diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds. Thank you so much, Chairwoman. I yield the rest of my time.